Welcome back to World Sport on a seismic day for football and everybody involved in the wake of the announcement of proposals for a new European Super League. You wonder what discussions are being had on training grounds, in the changing rooms between players and managers this morning. The Paris Saint-Germain player, Ander Herrera, PSG, of course, a club who aren't signed up. He said on social media, if this European Super League advances, those dreams are over. The illusions of the fans of the teams that are not giants of being able to win on the field in the best competitions will end. Well, I'm pleased to say I'm still joined by award-winning author Mike Calvin, whose news book, Whose Game Is It Anyway?, is published today, and by my World Sport colleague, Alex Thomas. Mike, what do you think? How likely is it that this is going to happen?
I fear it will happen. And I would hope that the authorities are strident in their opposition. You know, you referenced the English FA earlier on. The English FA were essentially rendered impotent when they allowed the Premier League to essentially gain influence over the game in England. UEFA cannot afford to be marginalised in the same way. So I know it's a romantic gesture perhaps, but I would say let the top 6 clubs in England go. Because even if they remain within the system and they want to retain a presence in the domestic leagues and play Super League matches midweek, in terms of logistics, what would happen is that their Premier League clubs or teams would be second-class citizens even within their own club. The best players would be retained for the Super League. So I think it's a time for English football to take the opportunity to reset, because whose game is it anyway? It is not a game. It doesn't belong to speculators or global businessmen. It belongs to the young lad or the daughter who goes to a game for the first time with her mother. They walk up those steps, see a ground for the first time, and they begin to understand that there can be magic in the air when you watch a football match. As absurd as that might sound, football is not about pounds, it's not about dollars, it's not about euro, it's not about yen. It's about flesh and blood, it's about people. And I think, hopefully, there are enough good people trying to do the right thing in football to make sure that the Super League, although I think it is probably going to be a fait accompli, will have a minimal impact.
Alex, let me come to you. How on earth did we get to this point? I mean, was it inevitable? Mike is talking about, people, money men, businessmen, and they are all men. How have we got here?
It was inevitable, I think, and we were talking in our discussions about what we were going to put in the show today about Arsene Wenger when he was at Arsenal, 10 years ago or more, predicting this. He wasn't the first. The Guardian newspaper in their coverage this morning dug up an article from its archives back in 1998 when one of the earliest proposals for a Super League. So it's been on the cards for years, but previously it's been used mainly as a negotiating tactic to get UEFA to give up more of its money that it gets as organisers of the Champions League to some of the top clubs. I love Mike's romantic notion. And if I was king of the world, I would click my fingers and make it happen. But for me, that is not the world we live in, and it's not the world we've been living in for many decades. And the only way the sport gets to grow, any sport gets to grow, is by financial investments. And that comes with a price tag, and that comes with the business people that see it as a way to improve profits. That's how capitalism works. You can't just sit still. You've got to keep looking to expand the sport. That's why we've seen the NFL take games abroad. We've seen the NBA's expansion into Asia and other markets. You need to keep moving forward. That's why I agree with Mike that I think it's inevitability now that they have published their plans. They've got financial backing. Apparently, they've got a broadcaster. They've resigned roles from current football structures. It's getting awfully real very quickly.
And of course, just a reminder that Tottenham have announced the departure of their manager, Jose Mourinho, and his team this morning. A statement from Daniel Levy saying, "I regret that things have not worked out as we both had envisaged." Alex, briefly, the timing here is interesting. How much do you think we read into this happening in the immediate aftermath of Sunday's announcement?
Yeah, there was a rumour going around that it was connected to the Super League. There have been briefings to select football writers that that's not the case. It seems the decision may have been made actually as early as last week, despite the result they had over the weekend. And that because Jose Mourinho seems to be in conflict with so many players in the dressing room, there seems to be a feature of his managerial reigns in recent years, because he's lost the dressing room essentially, he had to go. So interesting to see a first managerial casualty of the European Super League before it's even been launched.
Yeah, absolutely. So many talking points from this morning. Mike, Alex, thank you so much for your time.